formation, Frank. Passing situation. Long count. Looking at the defenses. Lochbaum goes in motion, and they go with Redman with the explosive speed right ahead. Cross Paulsboro up that time, Bob, as they split them with the double wing formation. And Redman straight ahead has them down to the 5-yard line, where it'll be the second Glassboro first down. Excellent running by Redman.
2 big runs totaling 36 yards by Redman on this drive. That one for 20 yards, and Glassboro with an excellent chance to take over the lead. A first down and goal from the 5-yard line. Tremendous hole for Redman to run through that time, and Redman is now coming very close to his 1,000-yard season. And remember, he's only a junior.
Again, it's the double wing setup. Widen the corners for Paulsboro defensively. They'll turn with the pulling guard. Mazzio out in front of Redman. Redman wants the corner. He fights and struggles and is in. Sean Redman did it all on his own.
Yeah, that was a tremendous effort. No blocking over there when the Paulsboro defenders converged, but you saw Sean Redman's great strength there. His 16th touchdown of the season. He was hit at the 3-yard line, carried several would-be tacklers into the end zone with him. Sean Redman, only a junior. A lot of people think that he's going to wipe out all of Gord and Lochbaum's tremendous records that he set. He has one more year to go and is being touted as a potential Division I running back after his final year of high school next year.
Lochbaum to hold for Lee Frank on the attempted PAT. Hold is up. Cook kick looks good. Greg Daniels indicates yes, it is Glassboro 7, Paulsboro 2, 8:45 left to play in the first half. We'll be back with more football action following these messages.
Hello, I'm Jack Herbert. Playing athletics taught me a lot about competition. And competition means to me giving your best at all times, whether it be to your teammates or your customers. As a former teacher and coach, I also know what fair play is. And to us at Herbert Fuel, fair play means giving you the best.
Glassboro somewhat stunned by the first quarter action where Paulsboro took the 2-0 lead by a safety. Come back now and get the touchdown. They go ahead 7-2, 8:45 remaining to play in the first half. Mike Linder along with Bob Schrack at Glassboro. Semifinal action. Group 1, looking for the South Jersey champion. Mike Wigglesworth to kick off for Glassboro. It will be taken up close by Jeff Gentile. And Gentile with an excellent return finally is rocked as he gets to the 41-yard line. And guess who did the rocking? Number 16, Gordon Lochbaum.
He's everywhere. He's a 48-minute man. This young man, quite a student athlete at Glassboro High School, Mike. Number 2 in his class scholastically, a 3.89 cumulative grade point average. I tell you, there's not much this young man can do. Of course, a great returning regional wrestling champion. And he plays in the specialty teams.
All right, Dixon will try to get his composure back. Remember, through that interception on the last drive that led to the Glassboro touchdown. Trader now on the play they've been having success with goes straight ahead. Nothing doing that time. Excellent defensive stop made by Dink McNeil, number 66. He'll get a yard out of it.
215-pound Dick McNeil, tremendous career at Glassboro High School. Tremendous job of tackling from the linebacker position this season. It's a team of many individual standouts and a fine collective team as well.
Mark the ball now at the Paulsboro 42. It'll be the option play. There's Trader looking for Scott's block. He gets that, but is not going to get that much yardage. He'll cross the 45-yard line. And the defensive backs make a good stop on the right side.
I talked about McNeil. I think he may be injured on that play, Mike.
It will be a big loss for Glassboro if McNeil's unable to continue. They're going to mark the ball at the 46-yard line. It's going to be a second.
It's amazing how much.
Third down, I'm sorry, Bob, and 6 yards to go.
Glassboro fans have really come alive. They, of course, were very quiet in the first period when Paulsboro dominated. McNeil on his feet, holding his head. He's going to be coming off under his own power. But since the Lochbaum interception and the ensuing touchdown drive culminated by Redman's 5-yard TD run, Glassboro fans really alive. Hamadine holding his nose. So he'll sit out for a play or two. 7:43 to play first half. Very interesting first half. Glassboro leading it 7-2.
Dixon with a 3rd down, 6 yards to go. Will send Hamilton to the left. He'll put Robert Pierce in the slot with Gaines to the right side. He wants to drop straight back to throw. Going to go on the flare to Trader, who will, let's see if they rule it a catch. Yes, they, no. Now Daniels, the referee, comes up and says, no, it bounced. It will be incomplete, so it will be a 4th down, and Paulsboro will be forced to punt.
Just as well for Paulsboro, the Trader did not catch it because it would have lost an additional 6 yards. So the Glassboro defense acquitting itself. There's Ramadine Dick McNeil with a towel of his nose being attended to on the sidelines. I'm sure we'll see him back in there. His bloody nose as a result of that defensive play. Paulsboro forced to punt again with Redman in single safety.
Bill Franklin stands at his own 31-yard line. Sean Redman in a single safety for Glassboro. Franklin's punt will be taken by Redman at the 26-yard line, and he's looking for running room. Haddock finally makes the stop, the original hit, and there is a late penalty flag. Let's see what happens. It appears if it goes against Glassboro that it will not, however, in the first signal we get, that it's against Paulsboro.
I believe a late hit, Mike.
And Lochbaum is going to talk about it. Here's the flag. Personal foul against Paulsboro. Late hit, apparently, so they'll pick up the 15 yards on this one, and that's going to give them good field position. Well, Bob, they were a little worried today when they heard the forecast, the possibility of showers, but boy, that sun has come out now, and it's a gorgeous afternoon for football.
Oh, what a season we've had for football, Mike. I guess the only 2 nasty football weekends we had, we did a Deptford game, which had a slight rain, 2nd week of the season, and then last week, Kingsway Pittman, the 8th weekend of the season, was not a particularly nice day, but no rain, and we got the game in. This has been, I think, the best overall fall for football weather-wise I can remember. So Glassboro with excellent field position again. Remember, they had a rocky first quarter, but they've taken charge here, leading 7-2, have the football, and it becomes a very important defensive series for Paulsboro now. They played extremely well defensively in the first quarter. They want to acquit themselves while here, get the ball back for the offense, and keep it a close football game.
It's Redman and Lochbaum in the I formation behind Frank. A pitch to Lochbaum. Turns up inside, and he'll be happy this time with about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. The ball now inside the Paulsboro 45-yard line. Let's call it the 44.
Excellent job by Paulsboro so far controlling Lochbaum. Of course, he is a breakaway threat. Lochbaum having a little bit of difficulty getting on track offensively, but he's made a couple of big plays, a big interception to key the touchdown.
Lochbaum will have the officials call a timeout as he adjusts his left shoe.
Of course, the winner of this one, Mike, 2 weeks from today, will be playing the winner of the Palmyra-Audubon game in the South Jersey Final. Audubon has had another great season. We saw them defeat Woodbury 30-13, one of the most impressive teams we've seen this season. We figure they will beat Palmyra.
Double wing. Remember, first time they showed this, Redman straight ahead. Now Adams in motion. They're going to double fake, and Frank wants to throw. He's got his man wide open. Excellent play. Now we've got a late flag. Dave Bateman makes the catch, number 83, and let's see what the flag is as we get the ball down to the 11-yard line. Excellent deception in the backfield that time by Frank. He had both Lester and Bateman open downfield.
So I think the penalty is going to be tacked on against Paulsboro, Mike, but a great pass by Lee Frank, the junior. Unfortunately for Lee Frank, he's playing in the same backfield with Gordon Lochbaum and Sean Redman. Does not get a lot of headlines, but Frank coming in 33 for 63, better than a 50% completion average, 4 touchdowns, and he has managed to throw the completed pass in there at the key time this season when the offensive game has been held down a little bit. Now this penalty will take the ball to the 6, where Glassboro will have 1st and goal. The Bulldogs with a chance now to pull a couple of scores ahead.
And again, Adams will be the only man split this time. 2 tight ends, Redman at fullback and Lochbaum at left halfback. Paulsboro changing their defense in tight. They're going to go with Lochbaum. Look at Lochbaum scamper into the end zone. No problem at all. Excellent block thrown on the right side that time by Irv Gustillo, the great guard. It's done it all year long for Glassboro. They do know how to throw blocks from that guard position. Mazzio and Gustillo to open those backs wide open. It will now be 13-2, 5:55 remaining in the first half of play, and Frank will attempt the 14th point.
How quickly things turn around. Paulsboro thoroughly dominant in the first quarter, and all of a sudden Glassboro's taken charge. 2 scoring drives. Frank with a chance to make it 14-2.
From Lochbaum's hold. Again, has it straight ahead. As if no problem at all. It will be 14-2. Glassboro now on top, and things have turned around, and the Bulldogs have the momentum now.
Now Glassboro fans on their feet. They love it. I tell you, they've been cheering this team on. They love this football team. There you have an indication of the kind of support the Glassboro team has been getting. Their team down in the first quarter, but boy, they bounced back. And Mike, got to make it awfully difficult for the defense when you don't know whether a Redman or a Lochbaum is coming at you. Just tremendous balanced offense with great blocking up front, the passing of Lee Frank, the great play of wingback Pat Adams, who doesn't get much attention but is an outstanding football player and would be a star in many teams. That is probably as balanced an offense as we've seen in a long, long time.
I want to reiterate the credit to Castillo on that block from the guard. Watching Glassboro over the years, Bob, the backs have always gotten the ink, as they do in all schools, but without those linemen up front, the backs will be the first to tell you they're not going to get much. The 2 guards this year have done a fine job, Mazzio and Castillo. Wigglesworth, again, the kickoff for Glassboro, number 74. Standing deep, Dixon and Scott. Wigglesworth will not get it to them. It'll again be taken up close. And run back by a gentleman who I know is not number 67, because that's Ernie Parks in the program, and he's the punter with the concussion who's not dressed for this ball game. So Paulsboro, in any event, will have the ball at their own 36-yard line.
Short kick by Wigglesworth, but high enough at least that the Glassboro coverage was able to get down and negate a long run back. So fairly good field position by Paulsboro, but the special teams of Glassboro do the job.
Pearson Gaines split now. Gaines to the left, Pearson to the right. We'll go with Scott. Again, he's had great success with that quick opener straight ahead. Finally, Lochbaum gets the tackle along in the 44-yard line. So it'll be 8-yard gain, 2nd down and 2.
Long way to go in this football game, but this becomes a fairly important drive for Paulsboro. They've been burned for a couple of quick touchdowns by Glassboro, find themselves down by a couple of touchdowns. Paulsboro, of course, would love to control the football. Long way to go in the first half, get one of the scores back and get right back in the game.
I'm not sure they need a score out of this, but they certainly have to control the ball for a while. Lochbaum just made a crushing stunt on that time, took care of the blocker, and allowed Castillo to come in and make the hit. So that's the 2nd time they've stunted with Lochbaum, and both times results in a big loss in the backfield.
He's all over the place defensively, really makes a lot of things happen. Of course, this changes the ball probably for Paulsboro. A 3rd down and about 5 situation, a possible passing down for Dixon. Scoreboard indicating 4:40 to go in the first half, 14-2. The home team Glassboro looking for its 9th win of the season. We're going to see them, Mike, again in a couple of days when they play Gloucester Catholic High School on Thanksgiving Day. Channel 5's annual Thanksgiving Day coverage. We'll be watching the final coaching appearance in this area of Tommy Ichabone, outstanding young coach from Gloucester Catholic, and that should be a good one.
Ichabone leaving coaching to go into the world of business. On the option, it'll be Scott, but he meets Lochbaum, and Lochbaum fights off the block of Pierce on the corner and makes the tackle, and now Paulsboro faces a 4th and 1 at their own 45-yard line, and Tom Brown, who, Bob, once again is in the platform on the far side, calling plays from up in the air instead of on the sideline.
Well, the Paulsboro fans will want Paulsboro to go for this, but I think the proper decision here is to punt the football away, not give Glassboro an opportunity to get good field position again. Paulsboro does not want to go to the locker room down 21-2 against a great team like Glassboro.
Franklin stands at his own 31-yard line. Lochbaum now, well, we're going to have a possible delay again. Yes, they took too much time, and that'll move the ball back to the 40-yard line. And interestingly, Bob, last time they punted, Redman was the deep safety. This time it's going to be Lochbaum. I guess they just take turns. Greg Daniels indicating delay of the game. Let's start the clock again. 3:38 showing to play in the first half.
Well, Lochbaum has returned only 4 punts this season. Redman has returned 8. Again, one of those great statistics. Now the double safety, Lochbaum and Redman going back.
Franklin from his own 20 when he punts it. Bad punt this time, off the side of his foot, and it'll be down by Haddock at the Glassboro 39-yard line.
3:32 to play in a half, and this is a very critical series, particularly for Paulsboro, because Glassboro now seems to have rediscovered its offensive prowess. They would love one more drive, another score before halftime. Paulsboro at this point would probably be content to go in down 14-2. So we've seen evidence of the Glassboro offensive might. We'll see if we can see some more of it before the end of the half.
Now Lochbaum moving to a double wing formation. Adams on the right side, Lochbaum on the left. Adams in motion. They'll go with him now, and he slips and falls. Had some good blocking out in front of him, but Adams on his first carry of the afternoon will lose a couple of yards. I'll move the ball back now close to the 37-yard line. It will be second down, 13 yards to go.
Well, Adams hasn't carried the ball much this season, only averaging 5 carries per game, but that's usually the play they call for him, the wing back around, and he's averaged almost 6 yards per carry on the play. John Avini on the sidelines talking to the press box.
We'll go back to the I formation now. Redman, fullback, Lochbaum, who now moves to the halfback position on the left side. Paulsboro adjusting in that direction. Lochbaum, as the play is changed by Frank at the line of scrimmage. And Daniel says, nope, you didn't get it off. Greg Daniels showing again delay. It'll be the 4th penalty assessed against Glassboro. And now Daniels having a little discussion with John Avini as he shouts to him on the sideline. I guess Avini had a few words that were not intended to show he liked Daniels counting.
So the Bulldogs backing up now. There's Tom Brown and his assistant Pete Pandolfo on top of the scaffolding over between the bleachers on the visiting side. Tom Brown on the left. Went up to the press box a couple of years ago, Mike, and has been calling the plays from up there ever since.
All right, second down now. 18 yards to go. Ball at the Glassboro 31. Lee Frank has only thrown one, but it was a big completion to Bateman that led to the touchdown. Adams, the inside track from the wingback position. He'll get back close to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a half a yard shy of that mark. Up close to the 39-yard line. Brian Trader makes the tackle. It will be a second down now, and about 11 yards to go. Third down, check it, and 11 yards to go.
Play being brought in by Lester. Frank, as Mike indicated, 1 for 1, not a big completion. We might see him crank up that sharp right arm again here.
Bateman, Adams, slotted to the right side. Frank with a long count this time will go on the draw to Redman, who once again is going to make the yardage on his own. Excellent downfield block by Lester, and Redman is going to have first down Glassboro. But again, it's Redman doing it on his own.
No, he just bowled over some tacklers there. Really had no business making the first down. Did get the yardage on his own. Takes it into Paulsboro territory at the 48-yard line. Keeps the drive alive, so a very big play there for both football teams. And Glassboro still with a lot of time to get on the scoreboard, but the clock running, 1:35, and Frank may have to throw it here, Mike.
On that last play, by the way, Bob, I now have Redman over his 1,000 yards for the season.
Yeah, he only needed 47 coming in.
Frank brings Adams back again in motion, double fake. The same pass play again, looking now for the screen, however, to Adams. Has one man to beat, and finally he gets out of bounds. It'll stop the clock as he's driven out by Frank Genoese. It will be a gain of about 6 yards on it. Call it second now and 4 yards to go. Mark the ball at the Paulsboro 43-yard line.
That was a good defensive play by Genoese. That play designed to pick up big yardage, and Genoese held it to a relatively short 6-yard pickup. His clock stopped, 1:13 to go. Again, look for Frank to throw the football.
Again, he goes to Lochbaum this time. Lochbaum looking for the blocker that gets a double block. One lineman on the right side has enough for the first down, but there is a penalty flag thrown. That time, David Joyce, Bob, number 54, had the initial hit and then cleaned up on another man. 2 hits from Joyce on the same play, and it's an illegal block. So it will be brought back against Glassboro, and penalties continuing to plague them, Bob. The 5th one of the afternoon for them.
Craig Daniels making the call. You talked about Joyce, and he is an efficient blocker, Mike. As a matter of fact, in John Avini's chart, blocking at an 88% efficiency rate this season. That's tied by Dick McNeil and by Gordon Lochbaum, all three blocking at 86%.
What kind of points do you get for a double block? Maybe that
No
negates a
extra.
bad one, huh? All right, they'll move the ball back now to the Glassboro side of the 50. It'll be at the Bulldog 46-yard line. It'll be second down, 16 yards to go. Lester carries the play in now. Timmy Lester, just a sophomore, 6'3", 150-pounder, but he has played outstanding football for Glassboro all season long. Adams now goes to the right side. He'll be the only man flanked, two tight ends. They're going to go with Redman, try straight ahead, trying to cross up the Paulsboro defense. It does not happen. They get maybe a yard out of it as Schultz comes in and make the tackle.
That play might indicate, Mike, that they're willing to run out the clock, and Paulsboro taking a timeout. They want the football back. They want another shot at scoring before halftime. So there's an interesting decision by the Red Raiders with 54 seconds to go in the half. Third down and 14. John Avini now has to decide whether he wants to keep the football on the ground. He's in his team's huddle, or just run off some of the clock and punt the football away.
Not a bad ranking, huh? They, of course, cannot catch up to Cherokee, that fine club that's ranked number 1, but Glassboro in great position. They have to love that. Cherokee, by the way, Bob, going today for the tie of the all-time South Jersey winning streak. That, of course, compiled in the mid-50s by Millville High School, and Cherokee looking for the 31st victory in a row today. And they get that when they have a chance on Thanksgiving to set an all-time winning streak record in New Jersey.
Right before your eyes, our graphics man updating the scoring for Glassboro this season. Now 318 points for, only 42 against. Glassboro has only given up one touchdown in the first half all season long. There's John Avini.
Avini in his 9th season here, 57 wins and 30 losses in his career at Glassboro. Lochbaum moving now to the left side as a wing back. Adams again in motion. And he'll get the football following the blockers out front, and he is going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll leave a fourth down, 10 yards to go, and Paulsboro again calls the timeout, wants to force the Glassboro punt with 47 seconds remaining to play here in the first half.
Paulsboro's decision now is whether to go for the block of the punt, risk roughing the kicker and giving Glassboro a better field position for a last-second chance at another score, or just allowing the punt and trying to go a greater distance for its score. But Paulsboro obviously going all out here at the end of the first half to try to get back in the football game with a couple of back-to-back timeouts.
5th appearance in Group 1 play for Glassboro. Lost last year to Audubon in the first round, 22-20. Won it in 1981 and 1975 with a tremendous club, 11-0 that year in 1975. And
who was the center on that team, Mike?
The center, I guess there had to be a series of injuries because Ron Gotti, our executive producer at Channel 5, was the center on that team, and that would be the only explanation. Bad snap, but Frank recovers in time to get it. Morris can't get to him, and Lee Frank is fortunate to get it off. It takes the Paulsboro bounce, and the ball's going to roll backwards to the Paulsboro 37-yard line where they'll take over.
That was a great play by Frank. That ball almost centered over his head. He had the presence of mind to catch the ball and then calmly get the kick off. 36 seconds to go. Paulsboro with a long way to go, and you would expect Byron Dixon at this point, the clock now running, to get off a couple of passes. Paulsboro taking the timeouts, but now in no seeming hurry to get to the line of scrimmage, Mike. Kind of curious.
Clock continuing to run. Under 23 seconds to play now. Pierce is split to the right side, gains to the left. Dixon straight back with pressure. Wants to tuck the ball away and run himself. He has running room on the left side. Has Scott out there throwing a block on Redman, who fights that off and makes the tackle. Redman saves him there. 9 seconds, and they get the first down, which will stop the clock, and then Paulsboro will call one themselves, and they're going to have a 1st and 10 at the Glassboro 36-yard line.
Great athletes do exciting things. Byron Dixon did it there. Got a tremendous rush from Glassboro. No business getting that kind of yardage, let alone any yardage at all, and now he has the Raiders in pretty good position at the 36-yard line. Unfortunately, time for perhaps no more than one more play for the Raiders. I'm sure Tom Brown will send everybody deep, hope for either a scoring pass or for a defensive penalty, which would give the Raiders another play. Jerry Tarashi coming in the Paulsboro huddle now, bringing the play from Tom Brown. A key play here for the Raiders. If they can score in this final play of the first half, it'll be a different football game coming into the third quarter.
Paulsboro, of course, won the Group 1 title in 1979, 80, 1982. They lost in the first round, Group 1 contest 1981, and back in 1976 when they were competing in Group 2, they also lost in the first round. That a loss to Pleasantville High School. Slot formation to the right side. Dixon on the quick pass. It's going to be knocked up and intercepted by Timmy Lester. So second interception of the day made by Glassboro. Lochbaum with one and now Lester with another. 5 seconds showing on the clock. They'll call a timeout now by the Bulldogs, and they're going to go for one last play.
Interesting call there, Mike. Looking for the short yardage, possible first down yardage, and then they have the receiver get out of bounds, but the play backfires and gives Glassboro one last play opportunity itself now for a possible score. So 2 interceptions hurting Paulsboro in the first half. The first one turning into the first Glassboro touchdown on Sean Redman's 5-yard run. Later in the second period, Gordon Lochbaum scored on a 6-yard run. Lee Frank has kicked both extra points, and those 14 points offsetting the 2-point safety that Paulsboro was able to record with 3:33 to go in the first quarter. That one, Frank was tackled in his own end zone.
Well, Bob, we've seen Paulsboro, Glassboro now a couple of times each. We have also seen Audubon, one of the 4 teams in the Group 1 playoffs. We have not seen Palmyra, but boy, wouldn't it make a fine ball game, either Paulsboro or Glassboro against Audubon. Audubon with an exciting ball club to watch.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would be surprised if that fine Audubon team did not beat Palmyra today.
All right, 1st and 10 on the last play expected anyway of the ball game from the half from the Glassboro 35. Frank drops deep, wants to just wind up and throw it to Redman. Redman won't get it. Now it's going to be intercepted by Paulsboro. So a turnover here. Robert Muse gets excellent yardage on the return, but that should do it. There is a penalty flag. It's going to go against Paulsboro. It will be a clip, but apparently after the interception, let's see what the ruling does. I think that'll do it for the half, but
That's the end of the first half, ladies and gentlemen.
Craig Daniels talks it over with Gordon Lochbaum. The clip is denied, turned down. That'll do it. That'll be the end of the first half. It's been an excellent one. Glassboro striking back after Paulsboro draws first blood. They'll go to the locker room. The Bulldogs leading 14-2. We'll be back with more following these messages.
Deep for Paulsboro, number 33, Scott, number 32, Dixon.
Second half action in this NJSIAA South Jersey Group 1 semifinal ball game. Glassboro leads 14-2 over Paulsboro. Mike Linder along with Bob Shryock. Wigglesworth to kick off to start the second half. And there will be a penalty flag thrown right away. It appears that Glassboro offsides. That will be their 4th penalty. But statistically, Bob, this has been a rather even football game when you look at total yardage.
Paulsboro with a 6-4 advantage in first downs, a 116-92 advantage in rushing yards, and the total yardage, Mike, is almost even. Glassboro with more passing yardage. It's 129 for Glassboro, 127 for Paulsboro. So Paulsboro, which pretty much was in control of the first quarter, with certainly on an even keel yardage-wise, although not on the scoreboard. Craig Daniels making the call, and Wigglesworth will have to tee this one up from the 35-yard line. Most of his kicks have been short, so perhaps Paulsboro can begin its first offensive set in the second half with good field position.
Scott and Dixon stand deep to await Wigglesworth's kick. Big crowd here at Glassboro, one of the biggest crowds we've seen in a number of years for the Bulldogs. This one Wigglesworth has way up in the air. It'll be taken by Dixon and moves forward to the 36-yard line. That will be Scott who returned it. Vincent Scott marked the ball at the Paulsboro 36-yard line as we start second half action.
Paulsboro had the one great scoring opportunity in the first quarter, driving all the way down the field. 4 first downs, stalling out at the 1-yard line. Then in the next play, Glassboro was caught in his own end zone. Frank trapped there, the only 2 points Paulsboro has had. So Paulsboro wants to generate some early second half offense.
Trader gets the pitch out on the left side, and Trader again, the play they've had success with, the option play, and Glassboro just not rotating up strongly enough on the right side. And Trader will have 7 yards unless the penalty goes against Glassboro or Paulsboro, which it does. It will be a clip. Daniels explaining the options to Lochbaum. Question about this one, they're going to march off this yardage.
Trader had a pretty good first half, 9 carries, 34 yards.
Leading ground gainer, Vincent Scott, carried the ball 12 times for 49.
I can see interesting stats, rushing stats. Redman with a good first half, 9 carries, 63 yards, averaging 7 per carry, one of the touchdowns, but Paulsboro able to pretty much neutralize the effectiveness on the ground of Lochbaum. Gordon only carrying 6 times, 21 yards rushing, and remember, he came into the game with 1,208.
All right, first down, 22 yards to go now for a first down from the Paulsboro 24-yard line. It will be the draw to Trader. Trader with good speed gets off the line of scrimmage quickly and crosses the 30-yard line, where he's finally taken down by Redman and Adams coming up. It'll be a gain of 8 on the play.
Gain of about 8 on the play, brings up second
Ball
down.
now will be marked at the 32-yard line. Second down, 15 yards to go.
Glassboro, of course, would have the home field advantage in the South Jersey Group 1 final should they win this game. They would play the winner of Palmyra and Audubon. Glassboro top-seeded, so they could be home for the finale.
Scott, or Dixon wants to throw. Going out in the flat, the ball caught by the tight end, Morris. And Morris will cross the original line of scrimmage and get the ball out to around the 38-yard line.
Castillo's had a nice season making the tackle there. Not one of the Glassboro players who gets an awful lot of ink, but he's had an outstanding season. One of the top tacklers on the year.
Third down now, 8 yards to go. 10:23 left to play in the third period. Glassboro leading 14-2.
Now, Mike, we forgot to mention that Glassboro kept its record intact of not allowing the opposition any points at all in the second quarter this season, shutting out Paulsboro today. 87-0 in the second quarter for Glassboro.
Dixon wants the screen, goes to Scott. He has it, has blockers in front of him, but Lester recovers well from the defensive end position. Dixon had to loft the ball over his head to get the completion, but Lester came right back and made the tackle. It'll be fourth down and a long 3 yards to go for the first down with the ball at the Paulsboro 43-yard line.
Great recovery by Lester. Castillo also gets a small piece of that tackle, fighting off a couple of blockers to get a hand in there. Fine defensive series by Glassboro, just what they wanted to start the third quarter. They'll get the football.
Dixon now 3 for 7 on the day. He's thrown 2 big interceptions. Franklin again, the punt. It will be Lochbaum at his 32-yard line. Tries to change direction, go back to the left side. He will not do it. Taken down there by Morris. It will be now Glassboro football at their own 33-yard line.
So Redman with the big first half. Lochbaum held down a little while. A big pass completion by Frank to help set up the second score. And of course, the Glassboro fans waiting for Gordon Lochbaum to erupt with one of his long runs. He really has not gotten off a big one so far. You would look for him to do it before the game ends.
Frank now with a double wing will pitch to Redman. Redman fights off a couple of blockers and he turns upfield, and that young man shows you how to carry a football. Had around 5 Paulsboro defenders closing in on him, and he still gets yardage. In fact, he's going to come up with about 5 yards on the play. It will be second down and 5 to go.
Well, you talk about Lochbaum statistics coming into this game. Lochbaum with 3,500 all-purpose yards in his unbelievable career, but Redman doesn't have bad stats either, going over 1,000 a day for his career. Redman now almost at 1,800 rushing yards and over 2,100 all-purpose yards, and he has another year to go.
With Adams, the wing to the right side, will go to Redman on the quick header straight ahead. And Morris in on the tackle along with Frank Genoese, who's been strong defensively all day for Paulsboro. It will be a third down and 4 yards to go. Redman gets a yard. Now has 69 yards on 11 carries for the afternoon.
Redman's been getting the ball a lot more than Lochbaum has today on the season. Their rushing figures almost identical in terms of numbers of carry. Redman with 4 more in the season than Lochbaum, but today Redman's got the ball more.
Howard to the right side. They'll pitch in that direction for Redman. He fights off 3 more tackles and struggles ahead. He's not going to get much more than back to the original line of scrimmage there. So it will be a fourth down and 4 yards to go.
I give Paulsboro some credit on that defensive series. They needed a big set from the defense. They got one there, so they're going to get the football back. Paulsboro, as we've indicated before, a fine defensive team in its own right, allowing more than one touchdown in only 2 games this season. They're kind of underrated defensively. They've done the job here again.
Lee Frank to stand at his own 26-yard line to punt. Purnell and Scott deep for Paulsboro. Frank drops the football, but no pressure. It's off a pretty good punt. It will be taken by Purnell, who loses it but covers the football at his own 29-yard line. Down quickly, Lester, along with Brian Donovan, and Purnell had to hurry to cover that football.
Glassboro winning the Patriot Division of the Olympic Conference this year. Paulsboro, which won the Colonial in 1982 with a big chance last week, had it defeated Audubon to win it again this year, but the Raiders will not win it.
Raiders tied for second place with Sterling in the Colonial Conference. Audubon in first place. Scott, there's a fumble. Glassboro has it. Third turnover of the day for Paulsboro. Glassboro gets the football.
Castillo with the recovery, Mike. He didn't make the initial hit, but he did come up with the football, and there's a big turnover for Glassboro. They now have the ball at the Red Raider 31-yard line. A good chance with 7:20 to remain in the third quarter to break this game wide open if they can take it in for another score.
It would make it very tough for Paulsboro to spring back. They'll come out starting with a double wing formation, and they'll go with the pitch to Redman, looking for the block from Mazzio, who cannot get the block on the corner. Redman will be taken down by Robert Muse. It'll be a couple of yard gain for Redman. It will be 2nd and 8. The ball now inside the 30, marked at the 29-yard line.
An excellent tackle by Muse. That's the way you got to bring Redman down, and Muse has had a fine season. Kind of another one of those unsung players. Very short tackler.
This time Adams sets us the wing to the right side. They'll go in that direction with Lochbaum. Good defensive play made by Trader as he shoots the gap and gets Lochbaum in the backfield for a loss. He'll lose about 4 on the play. It'll be 3rd down, 13 yards to go.
Kind of a frustrating day running the football for Lochbaum. He certainly had an impact on the game with his great defensive play and he's blocking, but he really hasn't had a chance to get out of the blocks today. Paulsboro's done an excellent job on him. Passing down coming up for Frank on a 3rd down and 13.
Lee Frank 2 for 3 passing with 1 interception. They'll go to Redman on that quick trap up the middle, and Sean again is going to be close to a first down. It appears that he has it, depending on where they mark it. I say first down from here. Redman with a 14-yard gain on that play.
He's inching towards another 100-yard game, like a runaway freight train, Mike, when he gets into the secondary. Very, very difficult to bring down one-on-one.
Only the 5th first down of the day for Glassboro on that. But they have the 14-2 lead. Redman now 14 carries for 85 yards. It's Lee Frank after the double fake, wants to throw, looks across for Adams, who has the ball down close to the 10-yard line. He will not have a first down, but Adams.
One of the reasons Glassboro is so dangerous, the great running weapons in Redman and Lochbaum, but Frank has shown the ability all season long to come up with a big pass play. And there with the receiver, Pat Adams, who's had such a fine season. Adams, very much unheralded, but a very key part of this offensive team.
8-yard gain on that play, 2nd down, 2 yards to go. It's Redman again, and he'll have the first down inside the 10. Good blocking by Bill Stewart, Herb Castillo on the right side, the right guard in the center.
Glassboro has really had some big scores this season, Mike, starting with their 34-8 win over Edgewood, a game we televised then, 28-7 over Williamstown, 40-8 over Eustis, 53-0 over Cherry Hill West, 40-0 over Overbrook, and 3 big wins over Triton, Highland, and Camden Catholic.
Now with the power set up to the right side, Lochbaum, the right halfback on that side this time. He'll come in motion. Paulsboro shifts, expecting the play to go in that direction. There's going to be movement by left end Lester. It'll be a dead ball foul, and will cost them 5 yards. Their 6th penalty of the day. The one column we'll talk about after this ball game in the Glassboro locker room. Turned the ball over 1 time. The interception thrown by Frank, but they've had the 6 penalties. It will be 1st and goal now from the 14.5-yard line. Cannot get a first down, have to get the touchdown. Steve Bateman, number 80, into the ball game now. So Dave Bateman at right end, Steve Bateman at left end, both in a tight end position. Lochbaum wants to throw the halfback pass, but Trader is there when he throws the ball away. And let's see if there's a penalty flag thrown now. Bateman, number 83, was only around 3 yards away, Bob, from where that ball hit. And Craig Daniels saw it, pointed to him, and then talked to the coaching staff on the Paulsboro side. So incomplete pass thrown by Gordon Lochbaum. Did well to just get rid of it.
I'm not sure, Mike, that Gordon was simply lucky that Bateman was in the area, because Paulsboro coach is really upset with that call, that it was not called grounding, but it certainly was close to a receiver. Good play again defensively by Paulsboro.
Second down, 14 yards to go for the touchdown. This time he'll put Lochbaum in a slot on the left side along with Timmy Lester. They'll go on a draw to Redman. Redman smells end zone, gets a block from Lochbaum at the 4-yard line, and Redman's in for the score. 14 yards, touchdown run by Sean Redman. And you can just tell, could you, Bob, after around 3 yards, that he said this is going to be a TD. Great block thrown by Lochbaum at the 4-yard line.
And 2 great cuts by Redman on the play, too. And Redman really makes it look easy. He's just about at 100 yards. His second touchdown of the day. He's 17th on the season. He and Lochbaum have 3 between them today, 36 on the year. What a tandem they are. And Sean Redman really having a big day.
That is 102 yards now on 16 carries for Redman. Frank looking for the extra point. Again, has it up and long enough and true. It'll be good. So with 4:11 left to play in the third period, Glassboro 21, Paulsboro 2. We'll take this break and be back with more action after these messages.
At Bowers Automotive Center, we've got a great winter deal you can't turn down. Autolite spark plugs for 99 cents each. On cold winter mornings, your car will start faster, run smoother, and save you gas with a fresh set of Autolite copper tip spark plugs. And through the month of November, Autolite spark plugs are just 99 cents each when you come to Bowers Automotive Center. See, no matter how you look at it, Bowers Autolite spark plugs at 99 cents each are a great deal.
4:11 left to play in the third period. Glassboro now with a commanding lead in this ball game. They have 21 points, Paulsboro but 2, and Glassboro after the first quarter has dominated this football game. Paulsboro looking good in spots, but that's not enough against this explosive Bulldog football team.
Very happy. Sean Redman, very fine young man. I had him on my interview show, Mike. Very articulate young man, does a lot of work in the community with youngsters in Glassboro. Very well liked by his teammates. A fine young man.
Wigglesworth with a high kickoff will be taken by Gentile at the 25. He gets good return yardage up over the 35. And Paulsboro will start from their own 37-yard line.
A long way to go, 4:07 in the third quarter, but almost essential that Paulsboro is able to put some kind of an offensive drive together now, go down and get a score. Glassboro with the momentum. They've scored 21 unanswered points. Lead at 21-2, and Paulsboro certainly can't afford to give up the football many more times in this game without scoring.
Trader and Scott remain behind Dixon. Dixon will have to throw. Drops deep, goes and a flare pass to Scott. Read so well by Timmy Lester over there on the side, the defensive end, that Dixon just forced to throw the ball out of bounds.
Great pressure applied, too, by David Joyce and by Brian Donovan. Glassboro defensive line. So Glassboro defense has really done its job, too, since the early series when Paulsboro put together 4 first downs and failed to score. Since then, Glassboro has been very, very stubborn defensively.
Hamilton split wide to the right side. Gains to the left. They'll go on a draw to Trader. They've had success with that play, and again, Glassboro secondary forced to make the tackle after Trader gets 8 yards out of it. Will be third down, a long 2 yards to go.
Semi-critical call coming up for Paulsboro. 2 yards to go for a first down. The ball in excellent field position. If they can get the first down, keep the football, a chance to go in there, rack up some points. 3:20 to go in the third quarter, and a game that Glassboro has dominated since the first quarter.
Haddock replaces Trader in the backfield. They're going to turn fake to him and go on the pitch out to Scott. Scott looking for blocks in front of him, gets one from Hughes, breaks a number of tackles, finally driven out of bounds by Fowler, but that's the kind of explosion that Paulsboro needs to get back into this ball game. They're going to cross the Glassboro 35 down to the 34-yard line.
A big play for the Raiders, simply looking for the short yardage in the first down, get the big yardage from Scott, and good position now at the Glassboro 34-yard line. If Paulsboro can score in this drive, it's a different football game. Long way to go.
Haddock remains in the ball game. Only been in, this will be his third offensive play. A key one, first time he ran the ball in his first entry into the game. We stopped at the 1-yard line by Glassboro. Of course, Paulsboro got the safety on the next play. Dixon on the quick pass to Gaines, and he's knocked up in the air and will not be completed as Fowler makes a good defensive play there.
Dixon with the excellent passing statistics on the season, but he's had a tough game. A couple of first half interceptions, one of which set up one of the two Glassboro scorers, and this one tipped and could have been intercepted too. So Dixon not completely on his passing game so far.
3 for 9 today with 2 interceptions. Gaines now moves to the left side. Hamilton to the right. Trader back into the ball game at right halfback. Again, Dixon wants to throw the out pattern to Gaines. He's going to not be able to hold on, and that's a shame for Paulsboro, Bob, because the defender for Glassboro had slipped and fallen out there, and a good pass, and Gaines might have been able to tiptoe into the end zone on that one.
Yeah, that ball was underthrown, so Dixon's problems continue now. 3 for 10. Third down, and Paulsboro wanting to keep the drive alive. Back-to-back passing plays, kind of the Raiders coming out of their game plan a little bit.
Robert Muse, number 34, now enters the ball game, brings the play from the sidelines. Remember, Brown in the scouting stand on the far side, calling the plays from up on top. I formation, Dixon drops, fakes to Scott, has time, looks across, and this time misses it, will be intercepted. Interception made by Blaine Capano. So the third interception of the day for Glassboro, the 4th turnover against Paulsboro.
That defensive backfield for Glassboro has had quite a season. We already mentioned that Lochbaum in the first half had his 5th interception of the season. Now Blaine Capano with his 5th interception. Capano, an outstanding player in this team. Not only does he work at the defensive backfield, but the top tackler on the specialty teams for Glassboro all season long, too.
From the 18-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Lee Frank, who's had the long counts all afternoon, continues it as he brings Adams in motion. Double fakes, wants to go for the score, looking downfield for Bateman. Bateman having trouble as he's covered quite well by Byron Dixon, and the Glassboro fans looking for an interference call, but Dixon was making a move to the football. So Glassboro, following the big defensive play, looks to surprise Paulsboro and come up with the long pass. It will not happen here.
Yeah, that's a great call, leading 21-2 the ball on your own 19, but they go after a bundle on one play. There's John Avini. John with a tremendous coaching record, a former great player here, then at Indiana University, and of course later in the pros with the Washington Redskins and Chicago Bears as place kicker.
Moves Lochbaum to a left halfback position. He'll turn and give him the play on the counter, and Lochbaum struggles ahead, crosses the 25-yard line. He'll get 8 yards out of it, and that only now, Bob, gives him 8 carries for 25 yards on the day. Well, that's a surprising statistic.
And that's his long carry of the day, too, so it hasn't been one of Gordon's better days, obviously, in terms of rushing the football, but look on the scoreboard, 21-2 Glassboro, and that's what counts for the Bulldogs.
Lochbaum comes in. Remember, averaging over 10 yards a carry. He'll go to a tailback spot here in the eye. They'll go to Redman on the quick hitter, looking for the first down. And Redman, who's done the heavy-duty rushing for Glassboro today, will be very close. They'll take a long look at this one. Maybe the big thing is that Lochbaum has only been called on 8 times to carry the ball today, and Redman now 17 carries.
Yeah, as I indicated before, that is out of character in terms of what John Avini has done this season. They pretty much matched each other in terms of numbers of carries, so the game plan obviously was to use Redman more often today, figuring that Paulsboro would key on Lochbaum.
Lee Frank will stand at his own 10-yard line to punt, but there will be a flag first. Let's see who's against. If it's against Paulsboro, Glassboro gets the first down. Glassboro doesn't seem too pleased, however, as they walk slowly in the backward direction, and the 5 yards will be assessed against them. And Now they'll have a 4th down and 6 yards to go, so they'll still punt. Frank will move back deeper, and Purnell and Scott are the men scheduled to run the ball back for Paulsboro. Frank this time will stand just inside his 10-yard line. Scott in single safety. They're going to bring 10 men. They're really coming. They cannot get to him. And Scott has a fair catch inside Glassboro territory. Mark it at the Bulldog 49-yard line.
I like Craig Daniels on that play, too. Frank had difficulty getting the ball off. He did have a lot of pressure. He was nudged, I think, after he got off the ball and went down. Didn't do a real acting job, but Daniels looked at it closely, did not throw the flag. You would see some officials in that situation toss the flag.
Paulsboro with 1:03 remaining in the 3rd quarter, down 21-2. Would love to get a strike here. Tighten this ball game up as they go into 4th quarter action. Dixon on the option play. The ball thrown away. Lochbaum is going to get it, and does. Gordon Lochbaum, 3rd time today he's stunted. Twice before for big losses. He causes a problem here. Knocks the runner down and gets the football. Boy, that defensive call has been one they want to really remember after this ball game.
Yeah, we talked about Lochbaum in terms of his college potential, and the consensus does seem to be that he will play Division I on defense somewhere. He is just an outstanding defensive player. Glassboro with another big turnover. Things looking rather bleak for Paulsboro.
From the Paulsboro 36-yard line, Lochbaum following Mazzio. Mazzio gets the block for him, and Lochbaum's going to struggle looking for 1st down territory, and is going to be very close. I believe he has it.
And that'll be Gordon's biggest carry of the day, beginning to get those offensive stats to build up a little bit.
He'll get 11. That'll give him 36 on the day. 7th 1st down now for Glassboro. They're at the 26-yard line of Paulsboro. Clock continuing to run. Under 30 seconds to play here in the 3rd period now. Again, the wing T formation to the right side. Now, Frank to throw, looking long for Bateman, who cannot hold on at the goal line. Had Scott beaten that time, but unable to hold on. Both Lester and Bateman there. So it will be an incompletion, and they will get another play here in the 3rd period. Frank now has thrown 6 times, completed 3, and had 1 picked off. 2nd down, 10 yards to go.
You're talking about that play by Lochbaum defensively, Mike. Of course, I think the Glassboro defense has really been overshadowed by the offense all season long. Glassboro, with the 3 turnovers today, has forced 41 turnovers against 9 opponents.
Adams in motion. They'll go with him on the trap play inside. Adams will just power his way forward, getting close to the 30-yard line. It will leave them with a 3rd and about 5 yards to go as the clock continues to run, and that should do it for the 3rd period. Under 5 seconds to play. Glassboro will go into 4th quarter action with a 21-2 lead over Paulsboro, looking for this semifinal win here in South Jersey Group 1 competition. We'll be back with 4th quarter action following these messages. Five seconds, and they now lead 27-2.
Now, the versatility of these guys is absolutely unbelievable. Redman with his 1st touchdown pass of the season. Lochbaum has 1 earlier from halfback. Between them, they have 4 touchdowns today. That's Lochbaum's 2nd. Redman already has 2. It's 27-2. First play of the 4th quarter, and things really looking dismal for Paulsboro right now.
31-yard touchdown pass. Lee Frank looking to add the points. A high snap, but he gets it away. Quick foot there. And good. So Glassboro 28, Paulsboro 2, 11:55 to play. It's going to be a rough rest of the afternoon for the Red Raiders from Paulsboro.
It's probably as versatile an offense as you're going to see at a Group 1 school, I tell you, with the blocking that this offense produces, the quarterback play of Lee Frank, the tremendous running of Redman and Lochbaum, the versatility of Lochbaum and Redman. Lochbaum a great blocker, Redman showing that he can pass the football. Pat Adams, absolutely unbelievable.
28-2, 11:55 remaining to play in the ball game. And Wigglesworth will prepare his club for the kickoff. Scott and Dixon will go.
Wigglesworth will kick off for Glassboro.
Paulsboro needs something very quickly, something big and quick. Kick this time. It will be taken by Scott at the 12-yard line. Straight upfield. He's got running room. It's only Wigglesworth. He's not going to get him. Scott's going to go all the way if there are no penalty flags, and that's what Paulsboro needed to get back into this ball game.
Well, Mike, you no sooner said it than it happened. They needed a big play. What they got was an 80-yard return by Scott. Tremendous speed, but I like Scott on that one because he saw the seam to go through, and he hit it very quickly. Nobody back there with a chance to get him but Wigglesworth, and I tell you, that play could propel Paulsboro right back into the football game. We've had 2 touchdowns in the first 18 seconds of the fourth quarter.
It's now 28-8, and Paulsboro no doubt will go for the 2 and try to draw within 18 points. Still would be a long way to go, but that kind of play has a way of exciting high school football players. And Paulsboro will hope that it'll turn momentum around. Dixon will bring us back into an I formation as he looks for the 2. He's going to double fake, look into the end zone. Chris Morris is wide open. He couldn't get it there, and he bounces it off of Gaines as he looks for him at the goal line. He will not get it. It'll remain 28-8 with 11:42 left to play.
A long way for Paulsboro to come back, but that was a play that could lead them in that direction. A great run back by Scott. Just blazing speed. Tom Brown, 6 years head coach at Paulsboro High School. What an unbelievable record. 47 wins, 12 losses, 2 ties, 3 sectional championships, 1979, 80, and last year. He's done a great job at Paulsboro.
And of course, he owns the top winning percentage among active coaches in South Jersey. John Avini ranked 13th in that department. Great coaches here.
57 wins for Avini coming in. Oh, what an electrifying start to the fourth quarter. We've only played 18 seconds, and we have 2 touchdowns. Glassboro scoring on the first play of the fourth quarter on the halfback pass from Redman to Lochbaum, and now Scott countering that with an 80-yard kickoff return. John Avini assembling his receiving team, counting heads. He wants to make sure that the right people are in there.
So Bob, you go back to the early play of the ball game. Remember that 4th and less than a yard down near the goal line for Paulsboro. They brought Haddock into the ball game and gave him that quick hitter straight ahead, and Glassboro held on that play. You wonder what this ball game would have been if Haddock had been able to get into the end zone there, and Paulsboro had taken either a 6 or 7 or 8 point lead at that point in the ball game instead of just the 2 points.
Yeah, that was a key play. Of course, the Paulsboro defense helped the situation by creating the safety on the following play. Glassboro having an awful lot of trouble getting its specialty team set up here, Mike.
Yeah, fans yelling to them that they had 12 players on the field. They now have only the 11. Peter Brandt, freshman, getting a chance to kick off. First time we've had an opportunity to see him. Of course, Ernie Parks does a lot of the kicking, most of the punting all year long for Paulsboro, as we pointed out, coming up with that concussion in the last ball game. Bob had that on the opening kickoff and played the rest of the ball game. Talked to him before the game. He said he doesn't remember any of the game. They told him he did quite well, so he took their word for it. Brandt now. Lochbaum and Redman standing at their own 16-yard line. Whoa, looking for the onsider, and Glassboro gets it. And that, of course, is what Abini was talking to his troops about. Why the change up front, put a couple of halfbacks in there, and it pays off here as the ball is covered by Dion Schulte, number 45. So the onside kick attempt, though a good one by
Brent.
Brent.
That was an excellent kick.
Yeah.
The freshman. Ran only a freshman, and it certainly went the 10 yards. Fine kick, but Glassboro recovers. Now they have the ball at midfield.
Their 12th offensive series of the afternoon. Power now wing tee to the right side. Paulsboro adjusting in that direction, looking for Lochbaum coming back on the counter play. Gordon will get 4 yards out of it. It will be 2nd down and 6.
Well, the kickoff return by Scott important, but the Paulsboro defense must get the ball back. The Paulsboro still has to make up a 20-point deficit and only 11 minutes left in the football game. So obviously, Paulsboro cannot afford a long Glassboro drive.
Darrell Fowler, number 11 in the ball game, replacing Pat Adams at the wingback position. He lines up on the right side. Lochbaum following Mazzio. Mazzio takes out 2 of the Paulsboro defenders, and Lochbaum gets 12 yards on that play. Down to the Paulsboro 34-yard line and another Glassboro first down.
Well, he's been quiet running the ball, but beginning to assert himself more here in the last half of the football game, showing his great cutting ability in the open field.
52 yards on the ground for Lochbaum now to go with 104 for Redman. Redman straight ahead, gets a couple of yards. Schultz and Gentile make the tackle for the Red Raiders. They'll move the ball to about the 33-yard line. Mazzio doing a tremendous job along with Castillo at the guards. Mazzio wearing number 67, Castillo wearing number 60. Fine front line there. And Bill Stewart playing center, Bob, maybe somewhat overshadowed by the guards. There's a young man that had to make the move from tackle to center this year. Has come up strong. Here's the fake reverse. Lochbaum holds on to the football and is going to lose a yard or so. Did not fool the Paulsboro defense on the left side. Tackle made by Anthony Harris, number 53. They ran everybody to the left, Bob, on that reverse, and Lochbaum just kept it himself and tried to go against the grain. 3rd down now, 9 yards to go.
It's hard to look at the scoreboard and convince yourself that Paulsboro has played a great defensive football game, but they've had a lot of good moments defensively in this game.
Frank wants to throw. Looking long for Fowler in the end zone. He's open and has it. Darrell Fowler, who had come into the ball game a couple of plays ago, replacing Pat Adams, takes the touchdown pass. 37-yard touchdown pass from Lee Frank to Darrell Fowler, number 11.
Fowler, another indication of the tremendous depth of this Glassboro team. They can do so many things offensively. It's really unbelievable. Lee Frank having a big ball game. Fowler did a good job that time concentrating. He was wide open. Simply had to concentrate on catching the football. And a lot of people will drop it in that situation. He hung on.
Lee Frank looking for the 35th point. This time it's going to be off to the left. He'll miss this one. So 9:50 remaining to play in the ball game. Glassboro 34, Paulsboro 8.
So Scott records the 80-yard kickoff. Glassboro comes back, recovers the onside kick at midfield, and quickly takes it in for another score as Frank throws a touchdown pass to Fowler. This is some Group 1 offense, Mike. Two scores today passing, 3 on the ground.
Paulsboro got the long touchdown on the previous kickoff from Scott. They sure have to get one back here just to stay even with where they were around a minute ago. Now we have a new kicker in for Glassboro. Tom Chang, number 64. Chang to Dixon and Scott. Set up in the air, will not go all the way. Haddock will take it at his own 25-yard line. Haddock looking for the big return, will not get that. He'll get about 12, 15 yards. He'll get the ball to the Paulsboro 40-yard line.
Well, we anticipate Byron Dixon throwing the football a lot now. He's almost out of time. 9:46 to go and 4 touchdowns to make up. And, of course, the Glassboro secondary will love that. They picked off 17 passes this season, including 2 today.
They'll mark it officially at the Paulsboro 39-yard line.
It's Adams, Fowler, Capano, and Lochbaum back there.
Dixon. It is not Dixon. There is a near interception as they change to Frank Purnell now at quarterback. Frank Purnell wearing number 11. And he, too, will be unsuccessful in the over the air. So Dixon, who had a rough afternoon, attempted 11 passes, completed but 3, and threw, of course, the 3 big interceptions now, replaced by Purnell.
And not a particularly good game for Dixon, but he's had a great senior season, well over 1,200 yards total offense, 5 touchdowns passing, 5 rushing.
And Paulsboro, with some confusion now, is going to have to waste one of their timeouts. This brings the Glassboro fans alive. They just feel obviously so comfortable right now, and they're, interestingly, Bob, talking about looking forward to a couple of weeks from now where they anticipate Audubon or Palmyra, and I think they're thinking Audubon, but you know, that's the one thing that the Gloucester Catholic Rams are probably hoping everybody in Glassboro, most importantly the football team, thinks about. Let them think about the Audubon team, because obviously on paper Gloucester Catholic no match for Glassboro, and they're going to have to catch the Bulldogs in a down cycle on Thanksgiving Day. We'll have that football game here on Channel 5.
Well, we know, of course, traditionally what kind of spirit Gloucester Catholic has. They have not had a great season. They've had a decent season, but of course the big thing for them is that will be Tommy Ichabone, the former Ram player and current head coach's last game as head coach at Gloucester Catholic, as we look at John Avini. And I'm sure, Mike, that there's not going to be any difficulty at all for a Gloucester Catholic team to get up for a Glassboro team that now appears it will come in 9-0 and a Group 1 finalist, and a team that will be playing for its coach in his final game.
Purnell again will have a slot formation to the left side. He has trouble with the football, but drops deep. Now steps up in the pocket, throws the ball long down the middle, and guess what? Lochbaum has another one. Gordon Lochbaum makes the interception as they were looking for Kevin Davis long, and that will be the 4th one picked off by the Bulldogs today, and the 2nd one by Lochbaum.
Not a whole lot more you can say. That's 6 on the season for Lochbaum, and may have been the last hurrah for Paulsboro High School. Mike, I'm now looking at the scoreboard and trying to remember when the last time was a Paulsboro football team was down 34-8 at this point in a game. I certainly don't think it's happened in Tom Brown's regime. It probably goes back a lot of years.
Yeah, Glassboro did win a ball game in this series, 99-0 over Paulsboro. That was the second meeting in 1921 against
a little
Paulsboro.
before Tom Brown's time.
Yeah. They opened this series in 1908. In that first ball game, Paulsboro won 5-0 over Glassboro. And waited a while, 1921, as I point out, before they resumed the series, and Glassboro with a big victory then, 99-0.
You probably remember that game, don't you?
Read about it. Didn't we have a gentleman on one day who played that ball game?
Mr. Trader. That's right. He was right here, as a matter of fact.
1980, we interviewed him at the end of the championship season for Paulsboro. Adams gets the reverse handoff from Lochbaum and goes up across the, close to the 40-yard line. What a series, right? Rich in tradition. 62nd meeting today between these two clubs. Remember the sadness in 1980 when it appeared they would not meet again by both Paulsboro fans and Glassboro fans. So many upsets in this series down through the years. That's what Thanksgiving Day football is all about, of course. 3rd down, 6 yards to go. Frank still going to go to the air, looking for Bateman. He's wide open at the 45-yard line. Moves forward across the 35 and gets the ball to the Paulsboro 33-yard line before he's finally taken down by Albie Quarles, number 9.
Well, we've been talking all day, Lochbaum, Redman, but what a day Lee Frank's having. And he's had the great season. He just does not get the attention, publicity-wise, that the other players get. He's a very confident, poised young quarterback, Mike, only a junior, and you figure with Adams coming back and with Sean Redman coming back, a lot of people along the line coming back. It's a very young line. The Glassboro team is going to be pretty tough again next year.
Well, they have Stewart, the center, of course, will return. Lester, the sophomore. Dave Bateman just caught that pass, will be back. Now, that's another good team expected in Glassboro next year. Redman, again, he's run that play a lot today. They called that number, trying to follow the block that time of Mazzio on a trap. Does not get much. Second down, 9 yards to go.
Really hard to believe this is a 34-8 ball game after looking at the first quarter, which Paulsboro was in total control of with a one long drive.
So easily.
Yeah, and Glassboro went nowhere offensively, only had the ball for a half dozen plays in the first quarter. Look what's happened since then.
They'll go double wing. We've seen that quite a bit from them today. This time Fowler will be in motion, and he will be the ball carrier. Fowler turns inside, the excellent block thrown out there that time by Dink McNeil, number 66, and Fowler has another Glassboro first down at the 21-yard line of Paulsboro. And thinks the only thing that apparently will stop the Bulldogs today is the clock. Continue to pile up the yardage.
6:43 to go. Fowler with a per carry average of 6.5 on the season coming into this game with a long run of 56 yards. They have so many offensive weapons.
Lochbaum turns inside the block. There will be a penalty flag thrown. Apparently Joyce will be called for holding as Lochbaum steps into the end zone, and another penalty flag thrown, but I think this one will be negated. It appeared that David Joyce is going to be called for using the hand. Oh, illegal block, blocking below the knees. Another penalty flag downfield. See where they put it. Now a clip down there.
Play called off, but we saw the first real evidence of what he can do in the open field on that run, Mike. High stepping his way into the end zone, evading tacklers. Very shifty runner, excellent in the open field. Paulsboro stands beginning to empty, Mike. They were very up in the first quarter. Things were going their way, but the people starting to leave the Paulsboro side of the field. Craig Daniels making the call. He and his crew have called an excellent game today. Craig, an administrator at Washington Township High School, formerly in the Pittman school system.
Spent some time in Pittman as athletic director, now the vice principal at Washington Township High School. First down now. 24 yards to go for the first down. And now Fowler replaces Lochbaum at left halfback. Adams comes in motion. They'll go with Fowler on the counter play, and Fowler's going to get up over the 30-yard line. And also now in the ball game, Dion Schulte. There's the starters, huh?
Yeah, there's Lochbaum 16, Redman 22. And number 41, Ron Barrett. That's a familiar name. Is it athletic director Bob Barrett?
Frank remains in at quarterback. Well, they've got to find freshman quarterback here. Bob, I don't know if we'll get a chance to see him. There's Schulte carrying the football. Frank Mancini, remember that name? Frank, but a freshman, had an outstanding freshman year and has looked very, very good in practices. So going to be competition next year, even though Frank will be entering his third year as quarterback. I think, from what I hear, there's going to be competition for that slot.
Where do they get the great athletes, Mike? It's both of these schools, really. They just keep coming along, wave after wave of them, year after year, and it never seems to end. Tremendous athletic traditions, not only football, at both schools.
Frank will have a third and 15-yard and will drop the throw. Has plenty of time. Looks across. Going to be picked off. Interception made by Jim Kopko, number 80 for Paulsboro. And the Glassboro team will be turned away this time, and the Raiders get it back now at their own 14-yard line.
Really, the only bad pass Frank has made all day long. Give the Paulsboro defense some credit. They've got a lot of second and third stringers in that unit. They did a fine job. 5:04 to go, however, and the outcome pretty much sealed by now, unless a major miracle happens in the last 5 minutes. Glassboro High School is going to go on to the South Jersey Group 1 final, which means for the 5th consecutive year, one of these two teams will represent their area in the Group 1 final. Gloucester County in there for 5 straight years.
Purnell goes straight ahead with Trader. Trader gets across the 20-yard line. Herb Castillo again making the tackle. Boy, he has been strong offensively and defensively, playing a complete game as a lineman here today.
Trader's had a fine career at Paulsboro High School. All Colonial Conference as a defensive player last year. Paulsboro's season, of course, not over either. 5 days from now, they'll be playing their finale against West Deptford High School. What a rough season for West Deptford, Mike.
It's terrible.
Winless.
I like to forget that one. 0-8. There's the pitch to Scott. He's going to be taken down defensively by Bateman. Number 83, Dave Bateman. There'll be a loss. Again, taking the ball back now to about the 13-yard line. It'll be 3rd down, 7 yards to go. Clock continuing to run. 3:45 to play in the ball game.
Not the drama we've had near the end of the game of other Glassboro games, Mike.
John Worthy now getting a chance at running back. Number 17 coming into the ball game. So Purnell, Worthy, and Len Purnell. There's a fumble on the ground, and it's going to be covered by, is that Mazio, number 67, makes the reception there and comes off limping. And boy, they don't want to lose that young man. He's been a tower of strength all season long.
Yeah, Joe Mazio, what a tremendous player he is. Injured, score 34-8 Glassboro. We're going to take this break from Glassboro High School. We'll be back.
I'm John Mondelli, and this is my faithful Indian companion, Stan.
Covered his own fumble.
4th down action. Paulsboro now with 3:03 and counting in the ball game, and they're forced to punt. Peter Brent, the freshman, getting his first chance to punt today. Good snap, has plenty of time. Left footer, punts it away. Redman looks for it, and he will not get it as the ball will roll. And Brent is going to have an excellent average on this first punt for him for the season, Bob, as he gets the ball to the Glassboro 48-yard line.
42-yard punt for the freshman. Another good freshman team at Paulsboro High School. They'll be back, no question about that. A lot of good underclassmen on this Paulsboro team as well as the Glassboro team. And look for Paulsboro to have another fine season next year. Clock running, 2:40 to go, 34-8. Glassboro High School about to wrap it up. Their 9th straight win coming up. And they're shooting, of course, for an 11-0 season.
Quincy Wise, number 15, now is the wingback. Frank remains at quarterback. Long count. We're going to give it to Lochbaum, who would like to break a long one before the day's over, and has an opportunity here. Finally driven out of bounds at the Paulsboro 36-yard line, but he's going to get 15 yards out of this carry, Bob, and that's going to take his statistics up to 65 yards on the day now on 13 carries.
Not a typical Lochbaum game statistically, but he's done his job. A couple of interceptions, a couple of touchdowns, one on a reception. He's had another outstanding game. Now Avini taking his regulars out, both Lochbaum and Redman out of this play.
Fowler and Schulte are the 2 running backs. Wise is the wingback. Frank at quarterback. He'll go to Fowler. Fowler with the 1 touchdown on the 34-yard touchdown pass from Frank. Will get about 4 yards on this. It'll be 3rd down and or 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Clock running under 2 minutes.
Well, Glassboro proved something today, Mike, and I think some of them felt they had something to prove. They've been kind of gently wrapped for playing an easy schedule, of course, over which they have no control. They play a lot of big schools, but a lot of big schools with problems, and they've certainly proven themselves against a perennial power today.
Fowler turning the corner on the right side, driven out of bounds by Harris, who's played strong defensively for Paulsboro today, but Fowler gets another Glassboro 1st down, so the Bulldog reserves having some fun here in the final moments of this ball game. So it's going to, there's the record we talked about.
16 up, 41 down for the Glassboro opponents. Not a very imposing record. Of course, that improves a little bit today against a 6-2 Paulsboro team. That record not included in that figure.
First and 10 now, double wing as Fowler moves to the left side. Wise is on the right. He'll come in motion. And he'll get a chance to run the football. Wise wants to turn back to the inside, shows some smarts for a youngster there, and gets up over the 25-yard line, gets the ball to about the 23, gain a couple of yards on it. Clock keeps running, coming up on 1:20 to play in the ball game.
Did not expect this big a score, Mike. Not certainly surprised that Glassboro won it, but I figured it would be a lot closer football game.
I felt the first quarter was about what we would expect today, as we saw there. Maybe Glassboro, of course, doing a little better, but with the 2-0 score at the end of the first quarter, Paulsboro on top. And, boy, it just changed right around. It was as if once they got that 2 points, Glassboro said, whoa, what's going on here? Got their second wind and took control of the ball game. All right, final 45 seconds of play now. Third down, 8 yards to go. Frank will put his troops in a wing T formation now as Fowler moves to the halfback slot. And Darrell again runs the football and gets good yardage this time. Is going to be very close to another first down. I believe he has it here. Glassboro then will add to that total. Under 30 seconds to play. They'll wind the clock now. This could be the last offensive play of the day. Coming in from the bench, Steve Bateman, number 80, and number 45, Dion Schulte. They carry the play with them. Frank, who's thrown a TD pass today, will not throw on this play. They'll go right ahead with Schulte, and unless somebody stops the clock, that'll do it. 5 seconds to play. Glassboro 34, Paulsboro 8, and Glassboro has a spot in the South Jersey Group 1 final. They'll play the winner of the Palmyra Audubon football game, and we will be there on Channel 5. 34-8 as the players meet at midfield, with fans from Glassboro very happy with this one. Things did not look good for them in the first period of play as Paulsboro dominated there, but they certainly took over from that point on. They're the winners, 34-8. We'll be back with some final words following these messages.
At Bowers Automotive Center, we've got a great winter deal you can't turn down. Auto Light Spark Plug.
Glassboro picks up their 9th victory of the season. Of course, they have not yet lost. They have a spot in the finals at South Jersey Group 1 against the winner of the Audubon Palmyra game. 34-8, a big victory for the Bulldogs from Glassboro, and a coach with a super record over his career and an outstanding one this year. John Avini is Bob Shryock's post-game show. Bob?
John, congratulations. Big win, 34-8, and yet in the first quarter, Paulsboro really came out firing. 4 first downs in that long drive, took it all the way down to the 1, and I guess if there was a key play in the football game, it was the fact that you kept them out of the end zone.
Yeah, the key play of the whole ball game was keeping them out of the end zone. Kids just buttoned up. I'll tell you that it was never a doubt. You know, you got to have faith in them. You got to have confidence in them, and we've done that all year long. Our defense has been very, very stingy, and it was just outstanding defensive play. You know.
John, I know you don't feel that you had anything to prove today, and I'm sure your players didn't either, but something has been made of the fact that your opponents collectively have not had a great season. You certainly proved something today, I think, against a great Paulsboro football team.
Well, there's no doubt about it. It was in their mind. It was in our mind all week. You know, we've heard repeatedly from people who are supposed to know anything about football that we just don't play the tough schedule. Yet the people we play all have parity against, with one another, and Highland's done a good job after they played us and a few others. But we knew that this is probably going to be one of the toughest teams we faced this year, and they proved to be, and the kids knew that they had to come out here and do a number, and they did.
John, you have so many offensive weapons. Gordon Lochbaum statistically did not have one of his better games. He certainly did a lot of other things well, but it's tough to key on one player in your offense.
No way. It's not designed for him to key on one player. One player, if we'd had a design to key on one player, we wouldn't be anywhere near as successful as we've been. Sean compliments him, he compliments Sean, and they both just played their hearts out today. And then Patty Adams at the wing, he goes unnoticed, but he does a great job blocking and a great job running with the ball and defensively, and they just put it all together. They help one another.
Speaking about being unnoticed, Lee Frank has had a great season. He certainly had a great football game today. Of course, you don't have to throw the football that much, but he is an excellent passing quarterback.
Well, we practice every day. We put a certain amount of time in the passing game every day, and Lee is very, very definitely under people think he can't do it. You know, they just don't know. The boy comes out and works hard, and 65% of the plays we called out there today were audibles. Now, you can't be a dumb quarterback and do that, or one that can't work. And Lee Frank's one of the better ones. He does a real good job for us.
John, potentially, can this be one of Glassboro's greatest football teams? You still have 2 games to prove the entire thing, but can it be?
Well, one of. We've had a lot of nice ones here. This is certainly one of them. It's a great bunch of people. Every team has its own personality. This one certainly has its own personality. They work exceedingly hard. We have beautiful practices over the course of the week. When it comes time for conditioning after practice, we don't even have to worry about it because they go out there and do it themselves. But they work hard on their execution, and they have their own little personality, and are just one of the greatest we've ever had here.
We don't have the final score, but we know at halftime Audubon was leading Palmyra 24-6, and we've seen Audubon. I would not expect them to give up that kind of a lead. What do you know about the Audubon football team, John?
Well, I saw them for the first time last Saturday. They're a fine football team. They're a bunch of hitters. They're like Paulsboro, bunch of hitters. They're a little bit bigger than Paulsboro. They don't have quite the speed, but they execute well, and Joe Bendorf does a great job every year.
Good luck in the last 2, John. We'll see you on both of them.
Thank you.
Okay, John.
Welcome.
Mike?
John Avini with the 9-0 season, looking for number 10 at Thanksgiving.
Screen, Gordon Lochbaum, Sean Redman, the dynamic 1-2 punch for Glassboro. They're kicking away from them, or trying to. However, Lochbaum takes it at the 20-yard line, goes up the right side. And as usual, Gordon Lochbaum very difficult to bring down. They return back to the 39-yard line, where Glassboro High School will begin its first possession of the day. Glassboro 9-0, number 2 in South Jersey, in the Group 1 final against Audubon High School next week. And Gloucester Catholic 4-4. Tom Icavone's final game as a head coach on his way to a new business venture in Atlanta, Georgia. A lot of nostalgia today. Lochbaum with the first carry, breaks into the open, might break it, gets a good block. He's going to go all the way. Gordon Lochbaum, 61-yard touchdown run on the first play of the game. There's that great offensive explosion. And Mike, on that one run, Lochbaum gained almost as many yards as he did against Paulsboro in the entire game in the Group 1 semifinal.
In fact, he got 4 more yards than they credited him for in that game. Had 65 against Paulsboro. Really does the job here, and Gloucester Catholic has to be very upset. Tom Icavone talked to him last week, Bob. Thought they had some defensive schemes to shut down the Bulldogs. They got great blocking that time from David Joyce, Dave Bateman on the right side, and with Sean Redman leading the way, Lochbaum going all the way for the TD.
And Lochbaum comes right back to hold for Lee Frank's placement. Dead ball foul call. We've only played 28 seconds of this football game, and Glassboro already leading it 6-0. What a tremendously high-powered offensive football team this is. You know, we talked about not seeing Lochbaum break one against Paulsboro. Mike, Paulsboro really did a fine job containing Lochbaum. They didn't have as much success, however, against Sean Redman. And here in the first play against Gloucester Catholic, we see what Lochbaum, who is not credited with great speed, can do in the open field.
He has great football sense, of course. Can read that blocking up front. Understands the pattern so well. He knows where the opening is going to be, and he finds it.
And the penalty goes against Gloucester Catholic, and the Bulldogs will take advantage of that by going for the 2-point conversion. Sean Redman gets it, and just that quickly, it's 8-0. Boy, that didn't take long. We're going to take a quick break from Gloucester Catholic, Gloucester High School, where the Bulldogs of Glassboro lead at 8-0. We'll be back.
At Bowers Automotive Center, we've got a great winter deal you can't turn down. Autolite spark plugs for 99 cents each on cold winter.
Bob Shryock and Mike Lindner back at Gloucester High School on Thanksgiving Day. We're just underway, and Glassboro High School already owns an 8-0 lead. Sophomore Mike Wigglesworth will kick off for Gloucester High. Deep for Gloucester Catholic is Sal Medica and Bob Zimmerman. Short kick, takes a funny hop, recovered by Stiano, and he returns it to just short of the 35-yard line, where the Rams will have their first possession. Gloucester Catholic with a pretty good season. They've won 4, lost 4, defeating Highland, Bishop Eustace, Overbrook, and Cherry Hill West. Tough loss last week to Triton, 8-7, which deprived Gloucester Catholic of clinching a winning season in that game. So the Rams with their first set. Tim Lutz runs the offense. Full house backfield of Tom Thompson, Don Staiano, and Sal Medica. And out of the I formation now with Zimmerman. Play as handle the snap. These Lutz.
That's been a long year for Lutz. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Came back one of the veterans of this Gloucester Catholic. And last year they were 4-4-1, and they really looked to him for big things. They've not had the great year passing, but has done a very good job running the running game.
They're using Staiano as a single back. 2nd down and 6 after the 6-yard pickup, and Staiano, the junior, gets the carry, goes to the outside, breaks it, stays on his feet. Excellent run by the junior Staiano. So the first 2 running plays for the Rams are very successful, and they immediately move into Glassboro High School territory. Glassboro with an excellent defense, despite the fact that they're noted as an offensive football team. They've done the job defensively all season long. 17-yard gain by Staiano makes it 1st and 10 for the Rams at the Glassboro 45-yard line.
Interesting setup offensively. Zimmerman and Medica, the flankers, and gone with 2 tight ends trying to spread that Glassboro offense, and it has worked here so far.
Staiano to the outside, finally tackled by number 24, Blaine Capano of Glassboro, but another big pickup and another 1st down. So Staiano on his first 2 carries has gained a total of 28 yards. It's 1st down and 10 from the 34-yard line, and the Rams moving the ball at will.
Going with that double tight end situation, they keep the 5-4 lineup in tight. And if they're able to break the corners, as they have on 2 plays now, the deep men, of course, are so wide and dropped off to cover the flankers.
Medica in motion. Staiano again, this time has to improvise and is not going to gain much. First solid defensive play by the Bulldogs. Stewart on the tackle. Also their outstanding nose guard, Joe Mazzio, all 155 pounds of him, one of the best at his position in South Jersey. 2-yard gain at 2nd and 8.
Well, that time they went off right tackle with Joe Reed, one of their co-captain Deptford product, who's done such a fine job blocking for them up front, and Billy Savage, a Gloucester resident, playing at guard, and that hole opened up really to the inside, and Staiano read it, could not quite get there to get the big gainer.
Medica in motion again, taps Lutz, and Staiano gets the carry. They close in on him this time. Mazzio there as the initial tackler. Short gain again for Staiano as the Bulldog defense is starting to come together a little bit. It'll be 3rd down and 5 to pick up to the 29-yard line. 8:50 to play in the first quarter. Glassboro leading it 8-0.
We'll wait for the play to come in from Tom Eichenvold on the sideline, being run in by Phil O'Connell, number 65 at guard. But passing, they've looked for Zimmerman most frequently during the season. He's going to line up out there to the left and maybe thrown along a little too many times. Let's see if they have a short pattern here.
Zimmerman in motion. Staiano gets it again, 5th straight carry, almost tackled in the backfield, cuts back inside, and he'll be short of the 1st down. Penalty flag thrown as Staiano is pulled down about the 27-yard line.
I've got to believe it. Sal Medica, number 22, is going to be called for an illegal block. Looked as if he came back to the inside. You cannot close back to the inside from the flanker position and block below the knees. And our official today, George Bandina, talking it over with Gordy Lochbaum, and Glassboro's going to take that penalty, you would think.
Fowler cut down on the play, went out slightly injured. It will be a big 15-yard penalty against Gloucester Catholic all the way back to the Ram 40, or the Bulldog 42-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and about 18 for a 1st down. Glassboro trying for its 10th win of the season. They want to stay undefeated going into the Group 1 final against Audubon 9 days from now on December the 3rd. Passing down for Lutz, 3rd and long. Straight back to throw. Gets a good block from Staiano. Bad throw, however. It's intercepted by Gustillo, and he battles his way back to about the 38-yard line. That was a player that I'm sorry, I had the wrong interceptor on that one. That was Dick McNeil, the fine two-way performer for Glassboro, dropping back from his linebacker position to make the interception. So the Bulldogs have excellent field position at their own 43-yard line. Bad throw by Lutz, and it cost the Rams.
Well, they have so many big names on this team. Great players. Dink McNeil, one of them, goes both ways, as so many players do for the Group 1 school. And, boy, he just dropped back in there. And Lutz, we were watching him before the game, Bob, and had some trouble throwing that football, and it's going to be difficult all day long. It's not raining that hard right now, but muddy out there in the field, and that ball is going to be a dirty, slippery thing to throw. And Lutz that time lost control of it. McNeil right there.
That ball foul will cost the Rams 5 yards and advance the ball to the Glassboro 49-yard line, where it'll be first down and 5. First quarter action, 7:40 to play. Glassboro, on the strength of a 61-yard run from scrimmage by Gordon Lochbaum, leads at 8-0. The ensuing two-point conversion run by Redman. Redman's first carry moves to the outside, gets into the clear. And he bowls off a couple of tacklers, gets first down yardage and then some. Sean Redman, who had such a brilliant game against Paulsboro High School in the group semifinal, and Mike, a junior that a lot of people think is a budding Division I running back.
He has a great strength, tremendous legs. You ever see this guy in his basketball outfit just put together? He can go. Most Division I scouts think either at fullback or tailback on the major college level, and also play defense. He's an all-around threat. Great player.
Ball at the 42-yard line, first down and 10. Lochbaum, good faking by Frank. Redman gets it, and he's going to be dragged down from behind on an excellent play by Tony DeLuzio, the fine senior captain from Woodbury. President of Woodbury, outstanding player here at Gloucester Catholic, and that'll be a 1-yard loss assessed to Redman. Make it second down and 11. Good faking that time by quarterback Frank, but it was read beautifully by DeLuzio, the defensive captain.
Players from all over Gloucester County on this Ram team this year. I think a lot more than we normally see.
Lochbaum resets into the slot. Back to throw is Frank. Good throw, but not be handled by Timmy Lester. Just about maybe 6 inches too long for Lester. Thrown very well by Frank, who showed us an excellent arm against Paulsboro.
Tough week of practice for Timmy Lester, Bob. In fact, he missed a couple of days and unfortunately lost his grandmother earlier this week. And some question whether Timmy would play here today, but he is here and has had such a fine season all year long, the sophomore, defensively and offensively.
Another passing down perhaps for Lee Frank. Third down and 11. The ball at the 43-yard line. 6:22 to play. First quarter on an overcast, rainy day at Gloucester High. Lochbaum and Redman behind Frank. Lochbaum with the carry. Breaks into the open. Battles his way for yardage. Tough to bring down. Whoa! It takes 5 of them to bring him down. He gets the first down yardage and plenty more. Gordon Lochbaum with a big statistical start in this ball game. 61 yards in his first carry. Gets a bundle more here, taking the ball all the way down to the Bulldog 26-yard line. There's an injured Glassboro player down.
Bob,
is that Lochbaum?
Oh, do not want to see that. You don't want to see anybody get hurt, but Gordon Lochbaum with his knees held high hopefully means that wind is just knocked out of him and he's going to lay there and wait till he's ready, and that could be the case. What a tremendous career, Bob. Coming in right now with the yardage he's gotten so far today, 2,798 yards on his career. 102 yards away from
3,000
202 yards away, I'm sorry, from 3,000-yard career.
He's being helped to his feet, and he's getting up rather slowly, Mike.
The whole coaching staff out there surrounding him, huh?
What a young man he is, Mike. In addition to his great football ability, his wrestling ability, a regional champion last year, great point average of 3.89. He has been named to the Touchdown Club All-Academic Football Team. He's going to be honored Monday night at the Touchdown Club at Woodbury Country Club, and Gordon now walking off under his own tower. There's his seasonal statistics, very impressive. Lochbaum seems to be okay, running off now. He'll be replaced, of course, for at least one down. So it's first and 10 on the Lochbaum run. The ball at the 26-yard line. Darrell Fowler now lined up with Redman in the backfield. Fowler gets the carry, and he's driven back to Luzio with a big hit. Also in on the play for Gloucester Catholic is Tom Stiano. Gain of about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for Glassboro High School with the clock running, 5:40 to play first quarter, and that quickly Lochbaum right back in. Good to see that, Mike.
Well, they already have Pat Adams, of course, not playing today. Adams coming down ill before the game. The normal starting wingback, Blaine Capano, has been alternating with Fowler there.
Redman cuts back inside, makes a nice gainer. Tackle on a good play by Joe Harkins. Got 3 more yards, advancing the ball to the 20-yard line. 3rd down and 4 for the Bulldogs. Play being brought in by Blaine Capano.
Interesting story in the Gloucester County Times this week about Capano, a young man until last year as a junior did not play football, and in a gym class was seen doing such a great job. They asked him to come out. He's been a starter ever since.
Pitch to Lochbaum to the right, cuts back inside. Great individual effort by Lochbaum. Boy, he is tough to bring down today. He'll get the first down and a lot more. The advancement to about the 11-yard line, so the Bulldogs will be able to compile another first down before scoring. It'll be 1st down and goal from the 11 with 4:45 to play first quarter. 8-0 lead the Bulldogs. They're driving for what they hope is more. The umbrella's out on both sides of the field. Good crowd here from Glassboro, Mike. Good to see that.
And they love the blocking of the 2 guards that time. Castillo and Bazio both out in front. Lochbaum reading the block beautifully and cutting back in. But they do such a super job.
Fowler in motion. Pitch to Redman. Loses the football. Gets it on one hop. A good defensive play by DeLuzio that'll cost yardage. A penalty flag down at about the 9-yard line. The ball fumbled by Redman. Holding call will go against Glassboro, and that'll hurt the Bulldogs.
Yeah, we've got to move them back here, even though they throw them for a yard or 2 loss. They're in too tight. Have to move them back.
That touchdown by Lochbaum, Mike, was the 43rd of his high school career.
Not bad, huh?
43 touchdowns.
20th touchdown for this season.
15-yard penalty against the Bulldogs. Takes the ball back to the 27-yard line. That was a tough one. They have to get to the 1 for a first down, or this creates a different offensive set for the Bulldogs. A play being brought into Lee Frank by Capano.
Oh, remember last week in this situation, they went with a halfback option pass. It was Redman, however, who threw the football to Lochbaum. First down, long yardage to go. Could see a gadget play here.
And that was a touchdown pass on Redman's first pass of his career. He gets the handoff, forced to the outside. Pretty good defensive coverage by the Rams. Zimmerman helping Harkins drive Redman out of bounds. So a relatively short gainer to the 21. 2nd down and 20 for a first down, 21 for a touchdown. The clock's still running, 3:42 to play. First quarter that Glassboro has dominated, despite one promising drive by the Rams that was short-circuited by an interception. Lochbaum and Redman, the dynamic duo behind quarterback Frank. In motion is Fowler. Frank back to throw. He has receivers pretty well covered, has to run out of the pocket. Now throws and comes up short. It'll be intercepted. Kickoff made by Stiano. And that was just good pressure on Frank, which forced Frank to throw on the run. He underthrew it badly, picked off by Stiano. And the Rams do a good job of keeping Glassboro out of the end zone again.
That was not a characteristic Lee Frank play. There's no question about it. Had that pressure, had a lot of running room in front of him, Bob. That's what I don't understand. The pressure was there in the middle, and they couldn't recover to get to it. And thought he saw the man open deep and should not have thrown that football.
Stiano returns to the 16-yard line, where it's 1st down and 10 for the Rams. They continue with the single-back offense with Zimmerman in motion. Stiano, who's been busy in the first quarter, gets a handoff, and he goes nowhere as the right side of the Glassboro line really does a job. Lester leading the tacklers. Also assistance by David Joyce, who's had a fine season, and the gain will be about a yard and a half, 2nd down.
Timmy Lester, Dave Joyce, Joe Mazzio, Bill Stewart, Dave Bateman, the front 5. Castillo and McNeil, the inside linebackers. Capano and Adams. Well, Adams out of there now, of course, as we indicate. The corners, Redman and Lochbaum, defensive halfbacks.
Zimmerman in motion again, and back to throw is Lutz. Receivers well covered. Bateman chasing him out of the pocket. Throws towards Zimmerman, but Zimmerman can't come up with the football, and it'll be 3rd down and 9. Good coverage that time in the defensive secondary by Glassboro. That's a good quartet. Fowler, Capano, Lochbaum, Adams.